Imagine saving for years. Every single dollar carefully put aside. Every vacation skipped. Every luxury ignored. Every late night at work justified by one single dream: owning your own home. You finally do it. You sign the papers, you hand over your deposit, and you walk away feeling like you have finally made it. You tell your family, you plan your future around it, and then, years later, you get a phone call that changes everything. The bank won't give you the full mortgage anymore. The property you paid $800,000 for is now worth $650,000 on paper, and you have to cover that $150,000 gap yourself immediately, or you lose everything you put in. Every single dollar of your down payment gone. This is not a rare story happening to one unlucky person. This is happening to thousands of Canadians right now. And if you think this is just a condo problem, you are not seeing the full picture yet. Stay with me, because what is building underneath this market is far scarier than most people realize. The collapse no one saw coming.
Canadian real estate crash. We're going to get into some of these unbelievable losses. One loss is over 80%. I mean, it's completely crazy.
Not long ago, buying a pre-construction condo in Canada felt like the smartest move you could make. You locked in a price early, waited a few years while the property appreciated, and walked away with serious profit. It felt like a system that could not lose. Investors were rushing in, first-time buyers were stretching their budgets just to get a foot in the door, developers were building faster than ever. Between 2020 and 2022, mortgage rates dropped to around 1.5% to 2%. Borrowing felt easy, money felt cheap, and everyone from young couples buying their first home to seasoned investors flipping pre-construction units piled into the market at the exact same time. Bidding wars became normal, properties were gone within days of listing, banks were approving massive mortgages without hesitation because rates were so low that even large loans felt manageable. The entire country was riding a wave that felt like it would never stop, but waves always stop. And when this one did it did not slow down gently, it crashed. The numbers that should scare you. Let us talk about what is actually happening right now, because the numbers are not small and they are not moving in a good direction. In the Greater Toronto Area alone, around 7,000 condo units were cancelled in 2025. 7,000. That is not a statistic sitting quietly on a spreadsheet. That is thousands of real families who signed agreements, paid deposits, made plans, and are now left with nothing to show for it. Metro Vancouver is sitting on roughly 2,500 unsold or completely empty new condos. That number is almost double what it was just the year before. The national benchmark home price has dropped 20% compared to 2022 and is now sitting at around $664,000. And in some segments of the market, inventory has piled up to nearly 7 months of supply. That means sellers are waiting and waiting with almost no buyers showing up. Canada's housing market is not cooling, it is cracking from the inside, and the mortgage delinquency data confirms it. In 2020, the mortgage delinquency rate in Canada was sitting at around 0.13%. By 2025, that number had climbed to 0.24%. That might sound small until you realize that is nearly a 60% increase in the rate of people falling behind on their mortgages. And what matters more than the number itself is the direction it is moving. People are not suddenly defaulting overnight. They are slowly slipping behind, month after month, cutting expenses, delaying payments, and quietly running out of road. The appraisal gap that is destroying families. Here is where things get truly painful. And this is the part that most mainstream coverage skips over. When someone buys a pre-construction condo, they lock in a price based on market conditions at that moment. They pay a deposit, usually 15 to 20% of the total purchase price, and they wait for the building to be completed. That wait can take 3, 4, sometimes 5 years. And here is the brutal truth about what happens at the end of that wait when the market has fallen. The bank does not care what you signed years ago. The bank does not care about your deposit, your plans, or your sacrifice. The bank looks at what the property is worth today and only finances based on that current value. So if you bought at $800,000, it is now appraised at $650,000. The bank gives you a mortgage based on $650,000. That $150,000 gap sitting in the middle is entirely your problem. You either come up with that money or you walk away and lose your entire deposit. For most people, that deposit was their life savings. We are talking tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more, gone in an instant because the market moved and the contract stayed rigid. And it gets worse. Those 5-year mortgages that millions of Canadians locked in during 2020 and 2021 at those historically low rates of 1.5% to 2%, they are coming up for renewal right now. And the rates they are renewing at are not even close to what they originally signed. Many homeowners are looking at monthly payments that are 3 to 5 times higher than what they originally agreed to. Not slightly, 3 to 5 times. That is hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars more every single month landing households that have not seen any meaningful increase in their income. People who were completely fine 2 years ago, quietly struggling. They are cutting groceries, skipping bills, burning through savings, and hoping something changes before the next payment is due. The system sold them stability and delivered a financial trap instead. Investors gave up, and here's why that matters. For years, real estate investors in Canada treated pre-construction condos like a guaranteed money machine. Buy early at a low price, wait for the building to finish, sell at a massive profit. It was almost formula. But that formula is now completely broken. Assignment sales, where investors try to sell their contract before a building is even complete, are happening at devastating losses. Properties that were purchased for $884,000 are being sold for around $590,000 just to escape the position. That is not a small loss. That is a financial catastrophe for anyone who put their savings into that deal. And when investors start absorbing losses like that publicly, comps not just weaken, it leaves. Buyers stop entering the market. They start waiting to see how low things will go. But that waiting pulls demand down either, which pushes prices lower, which creates more fear, which keeps more buyers on the sidelines. It is a speeds itself, and right now, Canada is caught right in the middle of it. The system is failing from the inside. What most people are still not talking about, underneath all of this, builder insolvency. The companies constructing these homes are collapsing at a rate that should be making national headlines every single day. Builder insolvencies in Canada have jumped by more than 30% in RETA. In Ontario alone, somewhere between 600 and 700 builders went bankrupt in a single year. When a builder collapses, projects do not slow down. They stop completely. Mid-construction frozen, financing disappears overnight. Buyers who were waiting for their homes to be completed are left in limbo with no clear answer about whether their building will ever be finished. Partially built towers, no path forward. The people who put deposits into those projects are not just losing money, they are losing the future they planned around a home that may now never exist. And the ripple effects of power of sale listings are making everything worse for everyone around them. When a distressed property gets sold at a loss, that lower price becomes a reference point. Appraisers use it, buyers use it, agents use it, and suddenly entire neighborhood's benchmark price shifts downward. One weak link quietly pulls the whole chain with it. The future nobody is talking about. Here is the part that truly keeps analysts awake at night. While everyone is focused on falling prices and slow sales right now, something else is quietly taking shape in the background. Because builders are collapsing and new projects are being canceled at scale, the pipeline of future housing supply is drying up. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation has already confirmed that new home construction is expected to decline through 2020 as developers face high costs, weak demand, and too many unsold homes. What that means in plain language is this: Canada is facing a severe housing shortage somewhere around 2029. The very market that has too much supply today will flip into a market with dangerously too little supply within just a few years. And when demand comes back, as it eventually always does, there will not be enough homes to meet it. Prices will spike again, and the affordability will return even more aggressively than before. Trump's tariffs and ongoing geopolitical uncertainty already pushed the expected recovery back by a year or more, according to most economists. And with bond yields rising due to global instability, fixed mortgage rates are staying anyone hoped, keeping first-time buyers frozen on the sidelines. Closing. Canada's condo market did not collapse because of one bad decision or one bad year. It collapsed because an entire system was built on cheap money, speculative optimism, and the assumption that prices would rise forever, and when the foundation shifted, there was no safety net, no flexibility, no exit, just thousands of real families absorbing law that were built into the system long before they ever signed a contract. The investors have already stepped back, the builders are going bankrupt, the buyers are waiting, and underneath all of it, a future shortage is quietly forming that will make today's pain look just the beginning. Canada's housing market not broken by accident, it is broken by design, and the people paying the price are the ones who were just trying to find somewhere to call home.